Well, folks, what we have here is a 2001 Chevy Silverado 1500. It does have the 4.8 and it is four-wheel drive, and it is a step side, which means it's a little bit lighter than the typical regular cab short bed trucks. The story on this truck isn't all that crazy. It was my grandparents' truck and it was a work truck. It had 7/10 of a mile on it when they bought it, used every day basically since day one. But today's my first day of ownership and I'm gonna start it off right by cleaning it up like any good new owner would. What got lost in the depths of Silverado Canyon? M&Ms. Oh man, those are still good. I'm gonna save these for later. We need to pull the seats out. Little fun backstory. My first job was at a car lot detailing cars and we would get some pretty nasty cars.
Do you remember which one was the worst?
I remember it being a Buick. I think it was a Century. Filled with cigarette butts, mold, old clothes, diapers, used diapers. It was bad. Everything's actually in pretty good shape. I don't see, like, none of this plastic, which is usually broken, is not broken. Door panels aren't broken. Even the driver's seat where people slide in and out. Granted, this truck's a 2001. It's 24 years old, 25, depending on when they got it, which they got it with 7/10 of a mile, so it was right off the truck, so they probably got it in 2000. And this is always torn up pretty bad, and that can be fixed. Look at that. There's no real rhyme or reason what I'm doing right now. I'm just spraying literally everything. Noise. Bullets. 9mm and 22. I don't want to insult your intelligence, but if you didn't know, 15mm in the front and 11 in the back. Man, all the change in this thing, I'm gonna be rich. Holy cow. Use your muscles. A longer ratchet would make this a whole lot easier, but I'm not that smart, so we're just gonna struggle through this thing. Okay, there we go, let's go. 20 years. Let's get this cleaned up. Cleaned up pretty good. Now we got to turn our attention to the outside, which is not great. Let's... Ow! Gloves. What do you mean this isn't the right way to do it? I beg to differ. Now I just need to do that for 16 hours. This is my life now. I'm sure you've noticed the glaring issues on the truck, the rocker panels. However, I've never done this before. Fixed some things like on the Trans Am, the quarter panel, welded it back up, but I've never done a complete rocker panel where I'm going to cut the whole thing out and put a brand new panel in. This is new to me. I got these all taken care of. I only went up to here, so this is where the seam is. I would love to not have to take the door off and get all the way in here. Rocker panel. Let's go. There we go. Oh, look at that. No, the whole bottom came off. It stayed, I guess. And outer seems to be pretty good right here. I know you can't see it, but this cab corner is really wanting to rot away. But I'm gonna go ahead and treat with this. I have some OSPO, but I don't have enough of it, and this at least will cling to the surface. Okay, there we go. It's all covered. I got way back in there as far as I could, smeared it around. Same thing on this side too. Starting to burn my hands. Let this dry, see what happens. It should turn black. I will probably coat this with paint, but first things first, we just gotta let it dry. So I let that stuff sit there overnight, and when I came back, it looked pretty all right. Hit it with some zinc weld-through primer. That's this right here on the top, and of course on the bottom. The black texture that you see here is just rubberized undercoating. So I think now we're ready to put that thing over here. Whoops, I severely misjudged. I forgot that I went sort of inside of that line. Luckily, I mean, I have the metal to do it. I think I gave you a warning ahead of time that I am not a master. Now, the shape isn't exactly perfect right through here. It's gonna take some work, but if I butt this up here and get it into place, it should be pretty close. I gotta do a little bit of cleanup on this front side, and we also have to treat the inside of this. So don't get fooled or lulled into this false sense of security that the EDP coating, the primer that's put on it from the factory, is any good. Shoot some actual primer or something on it to at least protect it. We're gonna drill our plug welds all on the top and the bottom, and then we should be ready. Clearly I'm not the best, but you get what you pay for. I got it all drilled out, got some weld-through primer on all of the bare metal where I'm going to be welding. I also cleaned it up with some Dawn, spray away, and a Scotch-Brite. The inside, I got some weld-through primer right where the weld's gonna be, and also some undercoating. Fingers crossed, that's good enough for at least a couple of weeks. It's really not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Bring it up just a bit. Okay, now it's sitting a little proud. One terrible weld. Perfect. That was a little less terrible. Ow. Ow. Here's nothing. Would you look at that? Looks like factory. Even the hole looks factory. I can hear it now. Wow, that's very hacky of you. That'll never last. Man, when these things are put together, they're put together with really thin metal, spot welds, seam sealer, and they lasted 24 years. I promise you, and it'll outlast the rest of the metal here. More than likely. Probably. Just finished welding. It is not the best, but there's no holes. It gets a little junky down here, but I'm not worried about here necessarily. Everything's nice and tidy and done okay. And before you ask how I fixed this, was I just took a piece of the new rocker, put it in behind, and welded it in. Next thing is to get this thing in fiberglass. Then we move to the other side. Now we're crudely taped up, and then I scuffed it with 400, and I went up to about right here. I'm gonna hit it with some self-etching primer so it bites into some of the bare metal to give me a pretty good base, hopefully. It's not gonna look perfect, but it is gonna get us ready for that next step. If I'm being completely honest with you, I really don't like Bondo, with the exception of the short strand fiberglass. It's easy to get a hold of. You can get it at basically any big box store, and it's relatively inexpensive. I treat this stuff like metal step cousin. Anytime you need strength but filler qualities, I will use this. All right, got me a little bead here, and I'm gonna use some pressure to squish it down in those voids. Just smoosh down in there. And I know you can't see very well, and I'm not gonna stop because this stuff is already starting to kick. So I'm gonna go before I lose it. Before it gets too cured, I went and grabbed my rasp. Now if you don't have a rasp, not a big deal. You can just sand it. It will gum it up pretty heavily right from the, at least while it's still curing. This will at least let me get shaping ahead of time. That way, I'm not fighting it when it's at its hardest. Next day, and I just did the same process, but with filler. So the only parts that really needed anything was like right here, and like right in there. The bottom wasn't too bad, but I did go underneath just so I had some to start to shape this. All right, I'm gonna stop just shy of, doing damage. I'm racing what little light I have left, but you can see, hopefully, just how little filler is actually left. Look, so I know there's going to be some wonky places, but I sort of have to gauge. Is it worth it? I don't know. But let me hit this with a primer before I'm completely in the dark, and we'll take another look at it. Now we're back in the garage so you can get a better look. There's a little wonkiness right there, and right there. A little spot putty there would take care of that. Of course, not worried about any of this. That's going to be covered by weather stripping. The next thing is to get this painted up and to move on to the next side. We're going to lay on some Duplicolor Perfect Match and see if it's actually a perfect match for Victory Red. I don't like rattle can usually, but I mean at $15, $16 a can, I'm going to at least give it a shot. The first step for spraying anything is to do a light coat. Just get the color down. This is going to help everything sort of adhere to it. I can see I'm getting some spatter, so we're going to try not to do that. You can see I did go into the actual cab corner a little bit. Alright, I'm not after coverage. I'm after tacky surface. That's all I really care about right now. If you're wondering, one can did about 1.5 coats on just a rocker panel. This will at least give me a good base for the future. Since I'm waiting for the other rocker panel to come in, which I could probably save that one, but let's be realistic, it's probably going to cost more money, it's going to take way more time, and that really just doesn't work for me. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to do this. We have some deer dings. Got a pretty significant dent there, and a pinch, and a dent right here. I think, I could be wrong, but I think I can get access to some of this from right here. I'm not sure how much access. I'm not saying this is a perfect scenario, but it is something. Aw, where you guys going? With the headlight out, I can get to right here a little better. And maybe from this angle I can get down to right in here. Can I get to you from somewhere else though? No, all of this is, as you can imagine, blocked. So in the spirit of being budget friendly, I'm going to put more work and not more money into making this more better. And to this side, it is a little bit more rotted out than I would like it to be. I also need to pull the door off. So because my doors are basically all acoustic, the only wiring that I have going in here is for the speaker. And there's a little plug right here. Out with it. Shove it over there. I should be able to pull all this through here. One, a two, a three. Oh yeah, nice. Obviously, if I was going to do this the right way, I should take that fender off. That means the hood has to come off. That's assuming that I want to do it the right way. I don't know if I want to do that. What the heck? I needed to get the passenger fender off because I needed to get down in here. I'd rather make this cut right here, and all I have to weld is this. That really does save me on welding. It is more, well, it's cheaper, to be honest with you. But while I'm here, I started thinking, I don't know if this truck is going to stay forever red. And now would be a good time for me to paint it. Now, I'm not going to take everything off the firewall. That's just too much. But what I may end up doing is just spraying what I can get to black, because that's a nice neutral color. So I may do that, to be honest with you. First things first, let's get onto this rocker panel, because that's the whole reason I did this to begin with. Rubberized undercoating, weld through primer, where the weld will be or potentially be. It caught on fire on the inside, and I had my hood on. I had the welder going, of course, and by the time that I noticed, the flames were all the way up. Tried to put it out, and it was like a series of really unfortunate events. I have a fire extinguisher, but it went with the Trans Am to a car show and had a hose out here, and the truck was sitting on the hose because I'm an idiot. Of course, I had everything off the front of the truck. I had all the sensors unplugged. I had the battery unhooked. I tried to put it out, melted the glove to my hand, tried to put it out multiple times with multiple things. It was just in a spot that I really couldn't get to. It was inside because the truck was half in the garage. It was sitting in here, and as you can see, I have fuel to the front of my garage. In case something crazy happens, I can just toss it out. By that time, I made a choice to save the garage, let the truck burn a little bit. So I hooked everything back up as fast as I could. Got the truck to run. It made it like a few feet and died because I didn't get the battery connected all the way because I was in a hurry, obviously. Got it connected again, and I drove it all the way into the center of my concrete out here, where I hosed it down with flames on the inside. No, there's a lot of smoke. And the wiring. Yeah. I'm hoping I can just fix it or cover it or something. I'm not after sympathy. That's not what this is all about. Before you do anything on any vehicle, just make sure like you have the proper safety stuff in place. I resigned myself to the truck just now needing a whole lot more work. It just sucks, is all. Here's where I'm at now. I didn't record this because honestly I just wasn't really in the mood to do it. All I did was cleaned it all up. If you ever seen burned metal before, then you know it rusts basically immediately. And I was mostly concerned with the structural integrity of the metal. It can weaken it. So I just sanded it, And I put primer on this side. I primed where it was burnt all through here. I cut this section of the floor out because it was, well, melted. The seat I kind of have a plan for, and the headliner I think I have a plan for, and the anchor panel, which I may just make this whole thing out of a rug. I did end up spraying this all black. Got a wild hair and I decided to do that. That way I have options in the future if I don't decide to go back red. So when I do go to paint or repaint the truck, because now even more needs repainted, I will go to about right here, or just whatever overspray hits. I'm not too worried about it. And touch this all up. That back there, I'm just going to leave it. So in an effort to gather my thoughts a little bit more on what to do about, all that over there, I've decided to still make progress. And this is the fender, if you remember, that I pulled out. Well, I tried to pull out as much as possible. Now that it's off, I have a little better access right here. I still did not have good access there, no matter what. It was just at an awkward angle. So I cut it right here, and I've been prying it up and hitting it and hammering it, and I can weld in just this, and hopefully nothing catches on fire in that process, but fingers crossed. Basically, all of this is low. This should flow nicely, and it doesn't. You can't feel it through the camera, but you gotta trust me on this. And I'm comparing that to this one, which does not have any of that. So my idea for this, in theory, is to take this football, which just so happens to say Logan on it, which is awfully coincidental, shove it in here, and see if I cannot get this thing to blow up and push that dent out. Now, is this going to work? On paper, it definitely should work. I think it's actually pushing it up. I still feel a high right here, so it's not perfect, but I would rather it be just a little bit low than a little bit high. I can definitely work filler, for sure. Can I work metal? No, not really. Let me show you what I'm getting at here. I still got the ball in there, of course. Is our general shape okay? Is it? I mean, it is significantly better. Ignore all the little dings, okay? Just little black low spots that you see here. Maybe it's not obvious to you, but this shape definitely mimics more closely what it's supposed to. It's got it low right here, which I already knew that. It's in pretty good shape, all things considered. I'm going to try and get this a little bit better, but we'll come back after I get some of this stuff taken care of, and I'll show you if I made any progress here, here, or here, or even here. Dang! I'm actually kind of proud of that. Yeah, there's some lows. It's not perfect. I'm going to clean this up and hit this with some fiberglass, and we'll see just how it shapes up. I'm going to hit this just a little bit more with this guy, and then we're going to jump over to block sanding this. We got some lows, which we expected. This one I knew was going to be there. Before you think that it's got like a ton of fiberglass on it, it doesn't. If you look real close, you can see the red coming through. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this fender, but that's where we are so far. And it's not terrible, right? Here it is after a little bit more fiberglass work, especially in this area right here. Some regular body filler, sanding it down. I think we're at 320 right now. And I promise I'm not gonna bore you to death showing you like the same things over and over again, but I will show you some before and afters, or before and betters. Befores and betters? Because we're not quite to the afters. The door and the fender are both ready for primer. And if you're wondering what I am using, it's the Eastwood epoxy primer. And I'm sure everybody's got an opinion, and there's tons of things that are better out there, but I'm familiar with this, and I have a whole lot of this Part B. Okay, so there it is after 2 coats. Piece of dust right there and a bug that walked through. Oh! Come on, man! Don't mess with it, just leave it. It'll be okay. Over here, it's looking, well, it's looking just the same. Actually, there's no bugs on this one. I don't understand. This one's actually into the outside. So we've done all that work on this fender, and it looks really good. I have a sag. You can see it, like, probably right there. There's a little bit of shadow. But that's okay. This is going to be block sanded. Now I need to turn my attention to the peeling clear coat on the hood, red bedside that's got peeling clear coat, the roof that's got peeling clear coat, and then the black bedside. And then I think we're ready to actually throw some paint on this truck, which brings me to the question, should I go back red, or should I paint it a mystery color?